Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Deputy Gachahua has a personal vendetta against the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. And one wonders why the two great sons of Mumbi cannot sit down on a table of negotiation and have some tea and clear their differences, because truly speaking, the beef between Rigathi Gachahua and Uhuru Kenyatta is not helping. There is a meeting that is scheduled on 22nd of this month, the National Delegates Conference that Uhuru Kenyatta had called so that the Jubilee Party can air their differences, because this was the directive of the courts. But even before the D-Day, there is a new twist to this meeting. Someone is reporting that there are some people within the government that are planning to humiliate Uhuru Kenyatta on that day, and that this group is being held at Kilifi. They're in one of the most prestigious hotels in Kilifi, and they have already been compromised, and they are planning to ensure that everything that will be proposed by the faction that supports Uhuru Kenyatta will be thwarted on that day. Listen to this spy.
Asante sana. Mimi naitwa Bradley Ouna na ni mwanachama wa Jubilee na mwanaharakati wa chama cha Jubilee. Nataka kuongea na viongozi wangu kutoka Nairobi. Kwanza, katibu mkuu wa chama cha Jubilee Bwana Jeremia Kioni, na party leader wa chama cha Jubilee Bwana Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Kwa wakati mnapanga mkutano wa National Delegate Conference hapo Nairobi, matukio yanafanyika hapa Mombasa na Pwani, matukio mabaya sana ambaye yanaongozwa na naibu wa rais kule Nairobi. Watu wametumwa wakuja wavunje mkutano ule utakaofanyika National Delegates Conference. Watu sasa wananunuliwa katika hoteli ya Little Theatre pale Mbaraki. Kuna watu wamekaa na kiongozi wao ni aliyekuwa mbunge wa Embakasi West. Wamekaa pale, watu wanapewa pesa, wanakunywa pombe, wakipanga mikakati ya kuweza kuaibisha Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta tarehe 22 katika National Delegates Conference. Sasa nasema hivi, wakati mnaangalia majina ya wale members wata-attend National Delegates Conference, you must be very careful and very clear that whoever comes to the National Delegates Conference or allegiance to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Jeremia Kioni. Msipofanya hivyo, aibu itakuja kubwa sana. Na nasema hivi, kwa wale wanapanga mikakati hiyo wakiongozwa na Hanini Kega na Sabina Chege, mwaka huu tutapambana pale. Hatutaruhusu mlete aibu kwetu, kwa sababu chama chetu ni chama ambacho kinajipanga. Tuko katika kata, tuna mobilize katika ward, tuna mobilize katika constituency na kila county, ili tuweze kuchukua mamlaka ya urais wa nchi mwaka 2027. Kwa hivyo wakati huu hatuna wakati wa kupigana na wajinga. Kama umeona kuwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta hawezi kukuwa kiongozi wako, tunakuomba tafadhali, enda kwa hicho chama cha waizi cha UDA. Enda cheo chama cha wafisadi cha UDA. Sisi tunajua wakati ukifika, Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta atatupatia kiongozi ambaye atakuwa wa party leader. Wakati wa 2027 sisi tukiwa na azimio, tuchukue serikali na tulete serikali ya uadilifu, serikali ya uaminifu, serikali isipokuwa na uwizi, serikali yenye maendeleo. Asante.
It appears to me that this attempt to take over Jubilee Party is something that was crafted long ago, because it started by DP saying that he is the one who helped Kanini Kega to be elected to the East African Legislative Assembly. I thought that Kanini Kega was and is still a member of the Jubilee Party, and that he won that seat to the Iyala courtesy of the Jubilee Party, courtesy of the Azimio. But Rigathi Gachahua is saying that is the one who instructed the members of parliament from Central Province to vote for him. And when you see Kanini Kega behaving the way he's behaving, it confirms our fears that Kanini Kega is working for his master. And his master here is none other than Rigathi Gachahua. But why is Rigathi so much engrossed about and obsessed about taking over the Jubilee Party? This is the question that many are asking. And because his name is being linked to this group that is planning to operate undercover. Because according to the information that is coming out, these people will be coming and they will attend that conference as members of the Jubilee delegates. But the main plan is to ensure that on that day they will ratify all the recommendations that will be proposed by the faction that supports Kanini Kega, Aden Kainan, Sabina Chege, and of course Rigathi Gachahua and William Samoei Ruto. We all understand that the Deputy President wants to become the sole kingpin of Central Province. And one of the people that has remained a thorn in the flesh to him is the former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Because Uhuru had warned the people of the mountain that trouble was brewing. He had worked with William Ruto and of course Rigathi Gachahua, and he knew very well that all the promises that we were being given were hot air. It is coming out now that everything that the Kenya Kwanza team promised Kenyans cannot materialize. The cost of living continues to skyrocket. They are about to increase the prices of fuel. They have talked about reducing the prices of unga, but this is not coming. And so Rigathi understands very well that Uhuru's prophecy is being fulfilled. And he understands that this is the man that people will turn to when they realize that they are tired of these lies. One might treat these statements as allegations, but you've seen what has happened before. It is not lost on us that just the other day, the government led goons to invade Uhuru's Northland farm. And this tells you that there is a personal vendetta between DP Rigathi Gachahua, Ndindi Nyoro, and Kimani Ichung'wah. We all understand that Kimani Ichung'wah stated it in no uncertain terms that they will send goons to invade this property because they believed that Uhuru Kenyatta is the one who is sponsoring the demonstrations in Azimio. And this takes me to another point, because the Jubilee takeover is one that is also meant to ensure that they take control of the political party's fund. Jubilee is an established party, and under the constitution, it is entitled to certain millions of shillings. And it is this money that Rigathi Gachahua and the team believes is used during the demonstrations. So what, in a nutshell, what they want is to ensure that when they get control of the Jubilee Party, they will swiftly ratify recommendations to walk out of the Azimio, and they will form or sign a post-election agreement to join Kenya Kwanza. So when this happens, it means that when they get their fair share of the political party's funds, then it will not be channeled to help in the demonstrations. And this is something that they are really obsessed to do. Whether they will succeed is something that we are waiting to see. The whistleblower there is trying to link a former member of Embakasi West constituency. And I was trying to just look around, And I understand, I was being told that the former member of Embakasi constituency is called Honorable George Theuri. And he was also linked to the Northland farms. And of course, these are allegations. Under the Kenyan law, he's still guilty. He is still innocent until proven guilty. But the name has come out because in the Northland invasion, both DP Rigathi Gachahua and the former member of parliament were linked to it. There isn't any investigation that has taken place. It was, right now it is water under the bridge. And I think the police is acting as if nothing has happened. The last time I saw, those who took the animals, the sheep, returned them. But we are sitting on a time bomb because it was not dealt with, and now we are also witnessing another coup. Because on that day, but majority, if the Jubilee Uhuru Kenyatta wing will not be careful, they will sit on a round table. But everything that will be proposed by Uhuru Kenyatta will be thwarted. And this is why this whistleblower is saying that they must ensure that those who will be in that meeting must swear their allegiance to Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't know what the Jubilee Constitution says, but I think this whistleblower is trying to, this is an eye-opener, and it is like he's telling the Jeremiah Kioni camp to be very careful to ensure that we have the right team on that day, a team that will ensure that they deliberate very soberly on the agendas that will be on the table. Because if they're not careful, then instead of ironing out their issues, I can assure you this is going to be very chaotic. But another question that is coming up, ladies and gentlemen, is why is Kanini Kega biting the hand that fed him? Because, as I said earlier, in as much as Rigathi Gachahua is trying to claim the bragging rights that he's the one who instructed the Jubilee or the Mount Kenya fraternity, Mount Kenya MPs to vote for Kanini Kega, we all know because it was in the limelight that during the voting, the UDA members of parliament from the Rift Valley ganged up and voted out all the UDA members from Mount Kenya. And this almost created a rift between them. Of course, the deputy president and William Ruto did not want this kind of humiliation, and they decided to iron out their issues. So when the Mount Kenya MPs realized that they had been hoodwinked by their counterparts from the Rift Valley, they decided that they must have one of their own, and one of the people who found themselves at the center of this was Kanini Kega. So Rigathi Gachahua could not come up and tell us that he's the one who instructed the Mount Kenya fraternity. So Kanini Kega must have respect to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I also have a problem with the members of parliament from Mount Kenya because they're being misused. That's the right term, not being used, but they're being misused, and someone is creating a rift. There is this sibling rivalry that someone is taking advantage of, and this someone is William Ruto himself. I stated earlier that if you look at how Ruto is dealing with the perceived enemies, people like Gideon Moi, you don't hear any rift between them. And the last time he gave Gideon Moi a very lucrative contract, while in Central, he's making sure that there's a rift between Rigathi Gachahua and the Kenyatta family. And this is why I'm saying that they are being misused to ensure that there's a chaotic scene and a chaotic environment between them, because William Ruto understands that when there is peace and harmony in the mountain, he is disadvantaged. The day when the mountain will decide to speak with one voice, I can assure that it will be the beginning of Ruto's predicaments. So he will thrive well politically when there is rift in the mountain. I must end by saying this, ladies and gentlemen. instead of concentrating in wrecking the Jubilee Party, DP Rigathi Gachahua should look for his own party. Because several people from the mountain have told me that if William Ruto would decide to kick out Rigathi Gachahua today from the UDA, where will he land? Because parties are the vehicles that plunge people or get them to the offices where they want. Look at all the presidential candidates, the perceived presidential candidates, whether it is DAP, you see Eugene Wamalwa there. William Ruto has the UDA. The Jubilee that is trying to wreck belongs to the family of Kenyatta, if I'm not like that. And of course, the ODM belongs to, we can associate it with Raila Odinga. But Rigathi Gachahua doesn't have a vehicle and is busy claiming the rights that is the kingpin from Mount Kenya. If an election was to be called today and Rigathi Gachahua wants to contest, which party will he use if William Ruto decides to cling to the UDA? So, ladies and gentlemen, the Uhuru Kenyatta wing of the Jubilee Party must be very careful. They have been alarmed and they have been told that there is a group that is planning. They could be chaotic, they could be crafty on that day, so let them be very, very careful. Otherwise, if they're not very careful, then this party is going to be taken away from them, and when it goes, it will be William Ruto and Rigathi Gachahua. I don't know what to think, ladies and gentlemen, but this is my take.